What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from the Last Corvette, and as promised, this is the first video that I'm going to make when it comes to fuel economy, fuel efficiency, MPG. When I say first, because we'll also do one in full economy mode or eco mode. That's what I'm doing right now. I filled up this morning. Later on in this video, I will include a picture of the gauge cluster. Literally, I timed it perfect. I was at 0 miles to go, and I was sitting right at a pump. And some people might say, well, you don't want to run the truck, out of fuel. No, you still have a 2-gallon reserve, like a 1.5 gallon reserve. And yes, I normally don't do that, but this is basically for you guys and for me to figure out how good does this Powerboost actually do when it comes to everyday driving. So let's kind of recap my driving, when it comes to day to day. I do about 60-mile round trip each day, okay? 30 of 60 essentially is spent at highway speed. So I'm going, 70, 80, whatever, 60 miles an hour. I don't light foot or feather foot this vehicle. I'm flowing with traffic. So that means, if it's 60, it's 60. If everyone is going 85, I'm going 85 as well. Then the other 30 is spent on main or surface roads. Here in Michigan, we call them mile roads. So that means stop and go traffic, 35, 40, 45, 50 mile an hour. Okay. Now, I made a video and I said that this truck, the big difference with a regular V6 or a V8 and a hybrid, which this is a hybrid, is on the surface roads, right? This is where it regens the power, sends it back to the battery, and this is where most of the time you're running, on full electric off the battery. Engine is off. So 30-gallon tank. So this vehicle has a 30-gallon tank. Now, I filled it up. This was my second time filling up this truck. It takes about 28.5 gallons. That's why I'm calling it, let's say, a 1.5 gallon of reserve when you're at 0. Obviously, don't do that. This is just me testing it. Number 2, in driving this truck, right? I can drive this truck for 2 weeks, and this includes more than just going to and from work, okay? This includes going to the grocery store, going to my brother's house, or wherever else I'm going. So for the last 2 fill-ups now, it's been on the dime, like right on the spot, every 2 weeks. I can't say I've ever owned a truck where I went 2 weeks on a full tank. Usually it's like if you get a whole week, you're freaking excited. So right there and then, this truck is already over exceeding my expectations when it comes to just overall fuel economy. But let's talk about the fuel economy. So this truck is rated for 24, 25 MPG. Now, this truck also, this test was done in a normal mode, meaning that normal, drive mode. This current test, and so you'll see another video, I'm doing in eco or economy mode. And the way Ford works is, if you have it in sport mode, off-road mode, towing mode, or whatever it is, when you shut the engine off, it defaults back to normal mode. So you actually manually have to select the drive mode every time you drive the vehicle. All right, so from a full tank, I ended up getting 21.5 miles to a gallon. This is mixed driving. This is like the perfect world of how these vehicles pretty much will be driven, unless you're on a highway all the time, or maybe you're on surface roads all the time, and this truck would be freaking amazing on surface roads. Total miles traveled, 558.9 total miles. So total miles means gas and electric combined. Out of the 558.9 miles, this truck traveled 163.5 miles in full electric. Now, once again, this is not a plug-in hybrid. This is a regen hybrid. So you get power back to your battery through obviously applying brakes and braking, and obviously using your engine as a gen to recharge your battery. So I would never get like a plug-in hybrid, because that's just another thing you have to do, and but this kind of is what sold me. I think I made a video about it. This is a regen hybrid. Okay, so 163.5 miles of full electric works out to be about 29% of the entire range was spent in electric only mode. That's actually very, very freaking impressive if you actually look at the numbers. 29% full E. That is pretty good. Once again, most of your 29% comes from, let's say, city driving or surface road driving. Now, what does that really mean? Well, that means really good MPGs. 21.5, that's good. Right now, the weather's getting colder, so I am using the remote start. I'm using the remote start for, let's say, like 10 minutes plus every morning to warm up the vehicle. I'm also using the same remote start to warm up the vehicle before I leave work. So that doesn't, count against the MPGs, but definitely kind of bites into the overall range because every time the vehicle is on, it's consuming fuel. But I have a 2024 Ford Expedition Limited Max. Now, this Expedition is very, very similar to the F-150 when it comes to weight, when it comes to equipment, but that Expedition has a 3.5 EcoBoost that's non-power boost, so it's not a hybrid, okay? It's just a twin turbo V6, right? Now, what do I see when I drive that truck? I see 14.5 miles to a gallon. And that's exactly what you would see if you had a 3.5 EcoBoost and you did, mixed driving like I do, right? So the easiest way, the math works out pretty easy here. What you do is this: you take your total miles, okay, and you subtract your electric miles. That gives you your gas miles, right? So miles spent driving it on strictly fuel. And that puts you at 14.5 mpg. So I'm dividing this basically by 28 gallons. I'm not using 30 gallons because each time I filled up the truck, it never took full 30 gallons. Like I said, there's a reserve there. So that's right in line with the Expedition. And where do you lose most of your efficiency or your fuel economy? You lose it on the street surface roads, right? When you stop and go, you're not in the higher gear, like I said before in one of my videos, right? So your efficiency, your economy kind of goes through the window. And like I said, I've never had a truck that could do 2 full weeks, basically, right, without a fill-up. It just doesn't happen. This is a full-size pickup truck. It has a lot of horsepower, a lot of torque, and to me, it's a overall amazing vehicle to drive, to daily drive. I mean, yeah, we're not talking, 30, 40 miles to a gallon, but yet, yes, because we're driving a full-size pickup truck, but we're talking about 21.5 miles to a gallon. Now, can I make this better? Absolutely. If I was to drive this vehicle mainly on surface roads, this would be right in line, probably with like 24 or 25 mpg average. If I was to drive this vehicle over the road on the highway, locked into cruise control at 70, I would probably be right there as well. And it's a trade-off, right? Now, 21.5, right? You have to account for, the loss in overall range by remote starting the vehicle. You also have to account for me driving this vehicle on a highway exceeding your 70% target, right? I mean, when I say 70%, 70 mile per hour target. So I'm always 75, 80, 85 miles to a gallon. So that's not ideal. But 21.5 mpgs is really freaking good, guys, considering that this is a mixed drive test. So the next test that I'm going to do is going to be on eco mode. I already started doing this. So this is economy mode. We're going to see what difference it makes. We're going to do same type of driving. Nothing is going to change. Basically 50% on highway, 50% on the surface roads. And we'll see what the economy mode basically brings to the table. Now, I'm still going to be remote starting the truck, so none of the parameters are going to change, just besides the eco mode and me engaging it every time I put the vehicle in drive, essentially. Now, economy mode is good, right? I actually use it on the Expedition. So economy mode will change your shift patterns, right? Your transmission will shift at different intervals. It will also cut down on the throttle. I'm sure it does more things than than just those two, but we'll see how it plays out. So hopefully it helps you guys kind of you know, figure out which truck works best for you. But as we sit right now, I think this is the best truck I've ever had when it comes to comfort, when it comes to fuel economy and fuel efficiency, in a full-size light-duty pickup truck with a power boost. And like I said, having a 3.5 EcoBoost non-hybrid really is like comparing apples to oranges, right? Where you can see what this truck would do if it wasn't hybrid, if it was just a straight twin turbo 3.5 V6. Talk to you guys later.